This is the budding light of hope and knowledge, the delight of Sri Prakash Educational Institutions, spreading academic brilliance in all directions.
Namaste friends, how are you? I hope you are all doing well. Dear friends, in the last session already we learned about the limitations of valence bond theory. That means in the last session valence bond theory is completed. So friends, in this session we will start another new theory, that is the most important theory, that is crystal field theory. Dear friends, in this session we will discuss the postulates of crystal field theory. The shortest form of the crystal field theory is CFT. This theory is also called energy level splitting theory. Crystal field theory was proposed by Hans Bethe and John Hasbrouck van Vleck in 1930s. First of all, we will discuss about the Hans Bethe. The full name of the Hans Bethe is Hans Albrecht Bethe. He was born in July 2nd, 1906 at Strasbourg in Germany. He was died in March 6, 2005 at the age of 98 in Ithaca, New York in United States of America. His nationality is German American. Hans Bethe is German American nuclear physicist. He made important contributions to astrophysics, quantum electrodynamics, and solid state physics. He won the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1967 for his work on the theory of stellar nucleosynthesis. This is some information about the Hans Bethe. Now we will discuss the second scientist, John Hasbrouck van Vleck. He was born in March 13, 1899 at Middletown in Connecticut. He was died in October 27, 1980 at the age of 81 at Cambridge in Massachusetts. His nationality is United States of America. He was an American physicist and mathematician. He was co-awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1977 for his contributions to the understanding of the behavior of electrons in magnetic solids. This is some information about the John Hasbrouck van Vleck. Dear friends, now coming to our concept, that is CFT, means crystal field theory. CFT explained the bonding in complex compounds and the stability of complex compounds. This theory, that is a crystal field theory, was based on the degeneracies of d orbitals. According to this theory, the d orbitals splits when the ligands approach the central metal ion. Dear friends, now we will discuss the postulates of crystal field theory. The first postulate. Dear friends, already you all know that according to the valence bond theory, the bond between the metal and ligand in the complex compound is covalent. This covalent bond is also called S coordination covalent bond or D2 bond. But according to crystal field theory, the bonds present in between the metal and ligand is purely ionic due to the electrostatic interactions between the metal ions and the ligands in the complex compound. These interactions are similar to the present in the crystals. Hence, this theory is called crystal field theory. Dear friends, now I will ask one question, that is, what is crystal? Yes, you are correct. A crystal or crystalline solid is a solid material whose constituents such as atoms, molecules or ions are arranged in a highly ordered microscopic structure. I will ask another question, that is, crystals are how many types? Yes, two types. Those are perfect crystals and amorphous crystals. Dear friends, I will ask another question, that is, give an example of amorphous solid. Yes, the best examples of amorphous solids are rubber and glass, etc. Now coming to the concept, that is, postulates of crystal field theory. Friends, already you all know that according to the crystal field theory, the bond nature in between the metal and ligand is purely ionic. That means 100% ionic. That means according to the crystal field theory, the ligand is negatively charged ion. That means anion, and the metal ion has to be a cation. That means positively charged ion. And the force attraction is due to these opposite charges. Okay, these are the attraction forces in between the ligand and metal. Dear friends, already you all know that according to crystal field theory, the ligand has negative charge. Here the ligand is represents L, and metal has positive charge, that is a cation. Here metal is represents with M. But if the ligand is a neutral molecule like H2O, water, NH3, ammonia, etc., then the negative end of their dipoles are attached towards the central metal ion. Okay friends, in this example, in water, the dipoles are attached towards the central metal ion. Dear friends, crystal field theory is treated as ligand as a point of negative charge. The arrangement of these ligand around the central metal ion is such that the repulsion between negative points, that means ligands, is minimum. Dear friends, CFT, that means crystal field theory, considers the effect of ligands on the relative energies of d orbitals of the central metal ion. Dear friends, already you all know that in all free transition metal ions, all the 5 d orbitals have equal energies. Already you all know that if d orbitals are having equal energies, then that d orbitals are called degenerate d orbitals or degenerate orbitals. Dear friends, already you all know that d orbitals are 5. Those are dz square, dx square minus y square, dxy, dyz and dzx. This degeneracy is maintained if the negative charges are present around the central metal ion in a spherical symmetrical field. Okay, this is the spherical symmetrical field around the central metal ion. However, if the negative field is due to the ligands, which may be negative ion or polar molecules with their negative ends towards the central metal ion, then the field no longer remains symmetrical and the degeneracy is split. So, the 5d orbitals, that means 5 degenerate d orbitals present in the central metal ion split into two parts depending on the number of ligands approaching the metal ion. Those are T2G and EG. Dear friends, already you all know that d orbitals are 5 types. Those are dxy, dyz, dzx, dx square minus y square and dz square orbitals. Okay, already you all know that the shape or geometry of d orbitals are actually double dumbbell, but dz square orbital has another shape, that is donut shape. Okay, this is the donut shape of dz square orbitals. Okay, dear friends, already you all know that if the metal ion is present in free state, in that metal ion, the all 5 d orbitals are having equal energy. So that d orbitals are called degenerate orbitals. But firstly, ligands are around the central metal ion and spherical symmetrically approach. So due to approaching of the ligands in the transition metal ion, the 5d orbitals are having a different energies. So due to that energies, the 5 degenerate d orbitals are split into two energy levels. Those are T2G and EG. Now we will discuss the one of the type of d orbitals. Those are T2G orbitals. Dear friends, in T2G, T refers to triply degenerate orbitals and G represents Gerade. Gerade is German word. The T2G orbitals are 3. Those are dxy, dyz and dzx orbitals. These are the T2G orbitals. The T2G orbitals are non-axial orbitals. Why? Because in these orbitals, electron density present in between the x, y, z axis. So, the T2G orbitals are called non-axial orbitals. Friends, now we will discuss another type of d orbitals. Those are EG orbitals. EG means exempli gratia in Latin language, but which translates to English as by way of example. E refers to doubly degenerate set and G refers to Gerade in German language. Already you all know that. Okay, these EG orbitals are only two. Those are the dx square minus y square and dz square. Why? The remaining three orbitals are T2G orbitals. Those are the dxy, dyz and dzx. So dx square minus y square and dz square orbitals are EG orbitals. Okay, these are the dx square minus y square and dz square orbitals. Already you know that EG orbitals are two. Those are the dx square minus y square and dz square orbitals. Already, friends, you all know that T2G orbitals are also called as non-axial orbitals. So, the EG orbitals are called axial orbitals. Why? Because in these orbitals, the electron density is maximum along the axis, means x, y, z axis. Dear friends, now I will say some information about the Gerard. Gerard means which are having or which orbitals are having inversion of symmetry or center of symmetry. Those are called or those orbitals are called Gerard orbitals. And next one is ungerad orbitals. Ungerad orbitals means which orbitals are not having inversion of symmetry or center of symmetry. Then that orbitals are called ungerad orbitals. Dear friends, the gerad orbitals are generally denoted by G and ungerad orbitals are denoted by U. Among S, P, D, F orbitals, S and D orbitals are Gerard orbitals. Why? Because in S and D orbitals are have inversion or center of symmetry. So the S and D orbitals are called Gerard orbitals. And P orbitals are ungerad orbitals because these orbitals do not have inversion or center of symmetry. So these orbitals are called ungerad orbitals. Now coming to the postulates of CFT. Next one is, dear friends, already you all know that transition metal ion has 5d orbitals, and if metal in free state, that 5d orbitals are have same energy or equal energy, and that d orbitals are called degenerate d orbitals. When the ligand approach on the metal, the degenerate d orbitals of metal ion splits into two energy levels. Those are T2G and EG. And this process is called crystal field splitting or energy level splitting. And this is the crystal field theory. These are the postulates of crystal field theory. Okay friends, in the next session we will discuss another concept in the crystal field theory, that is splitting of d orbitals in octahedral complexes or crystal field splitting in octahedral complexes. Until then, stay home, stay safe, stay healthy and keep learning. Thank you all.